Hello, friends. Have you ever gone to the grocery store thinking it would be just a quick, ordinary trip? And somehow it turns into a memory you laugh about for years afterward? Well, today I want to share one of those moments with you. It happened many years ago, but every time I walk past a grocery aisle full of cereal boxes, I still smile to myself. Some memories just stay with you like that. I must have been in my late 60s at the time. It was one of those slow Tuesday mornings when the air felt calm and the day hadn't quite decided what mood it was in yet. I had my little handwritten grocery list tucked inside my purse, the same purse I've carried for what feels like half my life. The list was simple: bread, eggs, milk, a few vegetables, and my favorite tea. Nothing fancy, just the usual things that make a house feel like home. Now, I've always liked going to the grocery store early. It's quieter then. You hear the soft hum of the refrigerators, the wheels of carts rolling across the floor, and sometimes a friendly "good morning" from someone you don't even know. There's something comforting about those small, ordinary sounds. So there I was, slowly pushing my cart down the aisles, taking my time like I always do. At my age, you learn there's no reason to rush through life, even when you're buying potatoes. I remember stopping in the cereal aisle. Now, I don't even eat cereal very often, but I like looking at all the colorful boxes. They remind me of when my children were little and would beg for the ones with the cartoon characters on them. I was standing there, holding a box and reading the back of it, when suddenly I heard a small voice behind me. "Grandma, are you lost too?" I turned around, and there was this little boy, maybe 4 or 5 years old, staring up at me with the most serious expression on his face. His hair was a little messy, like he'd been running around the store, and he was holding a tiny toy car in one hand. I blinked and said, "Well now, I don't think I'm lost, but sometimes I do forget where I parked my cart." He looked at me very carefully, like he was trying to decide if I was telling the truth. Then he sighed, the kind of deep sigh only a small child can make when they think the world has become very complicated. "My mom is lost," he said. Now that caught my attention. I knelt down a little so I could look him in the eye and asked him where he saw his mom last. He pointed down the aisle and said, "She was looking at oatmeal, but oatmeal is boring, so I left." Well, I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing right then and there. I told him we would find her together. After all, 2 people searching are better than 1, right? So he walked beside my cart like a little partner on an important mission. Every few steps, he'd zoom his toy car across the handle of the cart like it was a racetrack. We checked the oatmeal aisle first. No mother. Then the bread aisle. Still no mother. By this point, I was starting to wonder if maybe the poor woman was somewhere in the store, worrying sick about him. The little boy didn't seem worried at all, though. In fact, he was having the time of his life. At one point, he looked up at me and said, "You're a nice grandma. My grandma gives me cookies." I told him that sounded like a very wise grandmother. But here's the part that still makes me laugh when I think about it. We turned the corner into the produce section, and suddenly the boy froze. His eyes got wide, and before I could say a word, he shouted at the top of his lungs, "Mom, I found a new grandma!" Oh my goodness! The entire produce section went quiet for a moment. A few people turned and looked at us, and there was this young woman standing near the apples with the most shocked expression on her face. She rushed over, half relieved and half embarrassed, and scooped him up in her arms. "I turned around for 10 seconds, she kept saying. 10 seconds. I told her not to worry. Children have a way of disappearing faster than socks in a washing machine. The little boy, still in her arms, looked back at me and said very proudly, "See, I told you we'd find her." And then he waved at me like we had just finished some grand adventure together. The mother thanked me over and over, and we shared a little laugh about the whole thing. Before they left, the boy leaned over her shoulder and whispered loudly enough for me to hear, "Bye, new grandma." I stood there in the produce aisle, smiling like a fool, for a good minute after they walked away. You know, when I first went into that store that morning, it was just another errand, another ordinary day. But that small moment with that little boy, it stayed with me. Life has a funny way of slipping little surprises into the most routine places. Sometimes all it takes is a stranger, a toy car, and a cereal aisle to remind you that the world is still full of sweet, unexpected connections. And I'll tell you something honestly. As we get older, those small moments start to matter even more. They're the stories we carry with us, the ones that make us smile when we're standing alone in a grocery line years later. So now I'm curious. Have you ever had a funny or unexpected moment in a grocery store or somewhere ordinary like that? I'd really love to hear your stories. You can share them in the comments so we can all enjoy them together. And if you enjoy sitting here with me and listening to these little porch tales from my life, make sure you subscribe and come back again. There are plenty more memories tucked away in this old mind of mine. Until next time, my friends, take care of yourselves, and remember, sometimes the most ordinary places hold the most wonderful stories.